Awesome. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Happy Open Studios.
Happy Open Studios.
Everyone, this is Joanna. Wait, I'm going to say your last name. Joanna, tell us your last name.
Crawshaw.
Crawshaw. I was about to say it totally wrong, but thank you. Joanna
It's
Crawshaw.
phonetic.
That's good. It's helpful. She is an abstract painter who loves to experiment with color. Love that. And her work is rarely representational, often defies meaning. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your work that you're showing this weekend.
Okay, so this is all brand new to me. So I'm showing basically everything I do, little works, large works, works in between. Like you said, it's all primarily abstract. It's all based purely on my emotions. Like I don't always go in with a plan. I go in and paint, and whatever I'm feeling comes out on the canvas. So sometimes it's bright and cheerful, and sometimes it's not. And then you get those layers. So like a piece that takes me months will have a lot of things going on. And I might hide some things over the time. So I just let it tell me where it wants to go. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you mentioned that your paintings, you'll have some that you're working on for months at a time.
Yes.
Do they all take that long to make? Is that typical of your process, or some move faster than others?
Some definitely move faster than others. It's interesting, sometimes I go into the studio and something just comes together super quick. It might be just a few days. Other times I'm really struggling with it, and you can kind of see that in the end result. Sometimes, I just have to start all over because it just didn't work. It's like I'm almost overworking it. I'm just trying too hard to polish a turd is kind of how I look at it. So,
yeah,
cover it with gesso and start over.
You just do a redo, just a redo. I like that.
Exactly. Sometimes we need a clean slate.
Yeah, for sure. So you said that you head in and you don't really have a plan. You're just really working from an emotional state and from your current state of being.
Right.
Is there a state of being that draws you to the studio more than others, or maybe a mood or a feeling that pulls you, kind of calls you, Joanna, come get in the studio, you're ready to paint? That little whisper.
There are definitely times that I have that. I can't articulate what that really is, but I do have some days where it's like, you need to paint right now, and I just go in there and paint. I'll be inspired by the simplest, silliest thing, like even a stack of books, like just the way the colors are together. So I'll go, oh, that's really cool. And if I have time, I'll go in and paint it. If not, I'll kind of jot down a note so I don't forget. Or recently I just take a picture of it because that's the simplest way to do that while I'm still trying to live daily life.
Right. Right. Now, is your studio, has it always been, is your studio part of your home, or is it outside of your home right now?
It is part of my home. We built a studio in the backyard. So that has been amazing. In prior years, I had always rented a studio. In the very beginning, I would paint in the corner of the kitchen. But, as time went on, I needed a space. And so it's been a huge benefit to have it at home. So I can go in as early or as late as I want. I don't have to get in the car and go. I can just go into my pajamas if I really feel like it. So it's been really good.
That's good. I know that there are cons to having a studio in your home, such as distractions.
Yes.
You have a family, so that can definitely happen. Yeah, but it is nice for those reasons that you mentioned, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about, or tell all of us about, your current body of work?
So my current work is just from a visual perspective, very much about stripes. For some reason, I just got into these very graphic shapes. I love that juxtaposition of those real graphic stripes on top of a crazy chaotic background. It might be, very active painting underneath, and then I'm putting these very precise stripes and brush strokes on top of it. And I just love that I believe it started off as like vague, abstracted landscapes, but then I kept pushing it and realized I love these stripes. There's something really cool about them. So I just kept going with that, and I'm exploring that, see what can happen. So
That's fun. So what type of paint are you using, or materials are you using currently?
I pretty much stick to acrylic.
Acrylic, okay.
Yeah, I had painted with, I've had a pretty traditional education. So I did watercolor and oil and pastel and all that stuff, but acrylic just really spoke to me. I don't have the weight on the drying time. It doesn't have a smell. I do lots of layers, and I'm impatient. So the fact that I can do really thin washes and then let it dry in 20 minutes as opposed to a couple of days, that really works for me. And the more you play with it, the more you figure out how to get it to do what you want. So it's been really good.
Okay, and speaking of the more you play with it, how many layers do you think you do for an average painting? Or what's the range of layers? Do you know? Have you counted?
I have not actually counted. And of course, that your last interview makes me want to count. I would say anywhere between 5 to 20. I mean, it really varies. Of course, if I had to start over, then there's 20 extra layers underneath. So it's really hard to say. I have noticed sometimes I will sand down a canvas, so that might affect the layers. So, yeah.
Do you feel like most of your paintings have a fairly smooth surface, or are there a lot of bumps and roughness to it, like due to the thickness of the layers and the layering process, or not so much?
I would say a lot of my larger work, medium to larger work, has a lot of texture in it. My smaller work tends to be a little bit more smooth. I don't know if that's just the nature of I'm using smaller brushes and, you can see the detail or what. But within the past few months, I've really, really gotten into texture. And I like building that up and playing with it. I kind of do this thing where I'll build up some texture and then I'll put a wash over it and scrape it off and kind of see what happens. So, kind of like you're antiquing a piece of furniture, all that paint sits in the crevices and then I wipe the rest of it off. It's really kind of fun. So I have a feeling texture will become a little bit more prominent going forward, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah. So do you have a favorite art material that you're using right now, or a tool that you're enjoying a lot right now? Or maybe even a technique?
Yeah, like I said, my materials, I pretty much stick to the one thing, but I do have tools I love. Right now, masking tape is my favorite because, I can't paint a straight line to save my life. But masking tape has been awesome. And of course, I'm playing with different sizes and trying it out. And then palette knives and the little squeegee type scrapers, those have been amazing. I love playing with those. So.
Okay. They're pretty fun devices for layering and playing with that stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so with that and with everything that's been going on, COVID-19, has it changed your practice at all, or not so much? Do you feel like you're still on the same trajectory that you were back in, say, February?
I would say yes and no. I'm still playing with the same sort of, I don't want to call it imagery, but the same sort of shapes. However, it's been quite challenging. I have a elementary age child at home. So March, basically I put myself on hold to help him get through first grade. So it was a challenge. So I didn't do anything for myself for a very long time. And it wasn't good. But that's kind of, I fall into that rut. I kind of make sure I take care of everybody else first, and then I have to think about myself. And at least I'm aware of that. At least I sat there and I said, oh, you got to do something. So I started to kind of, at the end of the day, I don't paint much later in the day. I'm always a morning person. So at the end of the day, I would just grab my sketchbook and start drawing some things. And I started doing some digital drawings, which was fun, something new and different. But it was just to keep me making something. you know, it wasn't that I'm working on this same project, but I just have to keep going. And eventually I said, okay, we've kind of got a routine. I'm going to set a schedule and I'm going to go in the studio. I'm not going in every single day like I used to, but now I'm going in weekly. So I'm not painting as much as I'd like, but I'm really taking advantage of the time. And now school started back and we're only a weekend, so I haven't quite figured out our schedule, but it's looking like I might be able to get back in there every single day in the morning. So we'll see what happens, you know. So it's been a challenge, but you know, it's been depressing, but at the same time, I have something to keep me going. It's not like I have, you know, I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah, and it's also like you have a pretty long-standing practice of being
Right.
a creative person, and so holding on when you know to that notion like, okay, I will get back to this, you know, eventually, you know, that definitely helps. Everything that we went through this past spring and summer is very much of a surprise, but you know, it's great that you were able to just sort of slowly pick back up and show up as a parent, which is awesome. You know, that's totally great. I commend you for that. And yeah, it is a little hard maybe to get back into the swing of things, but sounds like you're doing it, which is really exciting.
Yes, I'm very excited that it actually worked. I mean, my first couple of days back in the studio, I was like, this is terrible. What am I doing? You know? And it's not like I lost that skill. It's just I wasn't quite in the right frame of mind. But I found the more I do it, the more I force myself to go. And, you know, I will go in the studio whether I have a painting to do or not. And so if I can't paint, I will clean up and I will organize and I will take pictures of my other paintings. So at least it's like if there's something I'm doing that's within that realm, you know, I just have to do it. So
that's pretty disciplined, Joanna. Like you're going to go in and you're going to be there no matter what. And even if you're not painting, you're still doing something. You're still in the studio doing something, and probably stuff that actually needs to be done. Cleaning that has to get done at some point, you know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not if you have visitors in the studio right now.
True, exactly. I mean, I was kind of going on about, this is great. I don't have to clean the house. You know, it's like, I mean, I'll tidy it so it looks nice, but I'm not going to go overboard, right? And I am a fairly tidy person to begin with. So I think that kind of drives me to go, oh, let's clean up, you know, but it is funny. I say that I'm tidy, but when I'm actually painting, I got paint everywhere. So it's this weird, you know, thing where I'm super actually messy, but tidy at the same time. I don't get it. You know.
It sounds like it's a good part of your process though, to get messy while you paint and then to clean it up when you are in the right mind frame to clean it up. Okay, so are you going live today, tomorrow? What's your schedule for that?
Both days.
Both days?
Again, it's new. So I'm just going to roll with it, see what happens. So I'm on Instagram. So if you join me, I've got times posted. If you go to Instagram, I'm just going to do probably 10 or 15 minutes. And it might be a Q&A session. It might be me painting. I just have to see what feels right. So
that's exciting. So what's your handle on Instagram, Joanna?
Joanna Crawshaw.
All right. So we can find you pretty easily there, and you've got times posted for when you will be opening your live studio up, which is great. Thank you for doing that. And if anybody would like to purchase your art or learn how to do that, or learn a little bit more, has questions about your art, how can they get a hold of you? A DM through Instagram or?
Absolutely. DM through Instagram will work. Email me. I've got everything that's currently available listed on my website, which that link is on Instagram if you go there. So everything's there to look at, but it's primarily just email me and we'll have a conversation and figure it out. So
great. And what is your website URL?
JoannaCrawshaw.com.
Oh, you made it easy for everyone. You got your name on all the platforms.
Yeah, having my last name makes it easy.
Well, thank you so much, Joanna. I really appreciate you being here. And I'm excited to see more of your stripes over more abstract work and what you're currently up to.
Thank you so much.
Okay, have a great weekend, Joanna.
All right, you too.